Hello, happy Saturday. First of all, it's super random, like 1 o'clock, and I'm getting ready for the day, but I'm also getting ready for girls' night out. I'm going out with my best friend, who's never in town, so she's coming into town, and we're going out to dinner tonight, so I don't get out very much, I'll be honest with you. I'm just gonna wait for him to go by. We live in a very residential area, but apparently nobody told him that. Anyway, so I don't get out all too often, especially not with my friends, but that's what we're doing tonight. So before I do anything, I'm going to start with a little Touch Glorious primer, and then I'll share with you what I'm doing tonight and what we're going to do makeup wise and why we're doing it 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, that part is easy. We're doing it 1 o'clock in the afternoon because this is the only time that I have is right now. And then, you know, the makeup is going to stay, so why not just get it over with? That's kind of the way that I'm looking at it. So Touch Glorious primer all over the place. It's going to sit on your skin for a few minutes. It's going to make all of your pores disappear. It's going to make your face really smooth so that the makeup that we're putting on it looks perfect. And that's the whole reason behind the primer. I personally don't use eye primer. I just put my face primer on my eyelids and I find that it works just fine. So that's the true story. Real life, I don't use eye primer. I guess it's an opportunity to sell you something, but for me, you get the true blue 100% version of everything that I do. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not great, but whatever. So the deal with primer is you want it to sit on your skin for a few minutes so that it acclimates and it sort of sinks into your skin. So while I do that, I'm going to clean up my lips a little bit with lip exfoliator, and then I'm going to put Moodstruck Hottie Lip Plumper on. And we're going to let that work while we do our makeup. So this is just coconut oil and sugar scrub for your lips. So I like to use it because it makes my lipstick look 100% better. It also brings, as you exfoliate all the dead skin off your lips, it brings the blood to the surface so that the lip plumper works a lot better. And your products just work a lot nicer on it when it's not trying to penetrate through all that dead skin layer. So, hi Kristen. So that is the reason behind lip exfoliation. Plus, if you have really dry lips, this is going to help keep them really soft. And we all know I have a serious thing with lips. So I'm just going to wipe that off onto a somewhat clean towel. And then we're going to put Hottie Lip Plumper on. So you will see my lips start to swell a little bit, and that is just the peppermint oil in my lips, in the Hottie starting to work and swell your lips. It's not painful at all. It doesn't sting. It doesn't burn. You can just feel it working. Hi Lorena, hi Kristen. So it's glossy, but it's just so that it can work. So let's watch as my lips truly develop on this video. All right, so my customer Kimberly has asked me to show her how to do sort of like a JLo glow. Hi Lorena, how are you? So she is wondering how to kind of achieve that like JLo natural look, but with all of that fabulous dewy glowiness. And since she just got the Younique stick foundations, I'm going to use the stick foundation, and we're going to try a little thing that I have been experimenting with, which is putting, right? She is flawless. Like, I think she is just as beautiful, if not more now than she ever was when she was younger. She ages like a fine wine. I have nothing but love for Jennifer Lopez. She looks beautiful. She's healthy. She's fit. She's talented. JLo is just, she's at the top for me. Okay, so we're going to do a little experiment where we're going to put, this is the cream to powder luminizer. So our luminizers come in two different kinds. One of them is the powder, which I use all the time, you see me use, and then we have the cream to powder, which is kind of like a stick. So we're going to go ahead and put the cream to powder underneath our foundation so we get that kind of glow from within. And then we're going to put our foundation on top of it. So we're going to put this everywhere that we want that glow to come through. So basically we're going to highlight first, then we're going to do our foundation. And this just goes on like a cream. So you can see everywhere that it is. And obviously, hi Amina, obviously it's going to give you glow. Now you can, because you start with powders first, excuse me, and then you move to liquids, that was totally wrong. You start with creams and liquids first, and then you move to powder. So even if you are a powder foundation person, you can still get this cream to powder luminizer and start your makeup with this, and then move on to your powder foundation. It will still give you a glow underneath. Okay, so I'm just going to take a damp blending bund and just kind of press this out a little bit, just so it's not like quite so heavy. Kind of blur the lines, spread the wealth, as they say. Okay, I wish I had something to put my hair back in. This'll do. That'll do, donkey. We watch a lot of Shrek in this house, so if I ever go into like a Scottish accent, you can just blame Shrek for that. Okay, so wow, the lip plumper is working. Give it that a round of applause, please. Okay, so the only thing that I have on right now is the cream to powder luminizer, and you can see how it's making my face glow. So I'm now going to go in with the stick foundation in the shade Lace. And if you guys want a stick foundation, I would recommend buying one really, really soon before they get sold out, because they're not going to restock again until August or September. All right, so let's do our stick foundation. So the stick foundation goes on just the same way that the powder luminizer did. Just kind of draw it on your face. It's so easy, you really cannot screw it up. And then I'm going to take our kabuki brush, which if you didn't get the kabuki brush or you don't have the kabuki brush, you can grab the powder concealer brush and it works just as well. But I'm going to use the kabuki since I have it. And we're just going to press it into our skin and stipple it. And you can see how the glow is coming through. But we're getting all the coverage. The foundation stick is full coverage. And it blends out really, really, really nicely. I'll just do half of my face so that you can see first. Okay. Like, look at that coverage. You can see the luminosity come through. It's definitely giving you the right complexion. Plus, the foundation stick is always going to finish with sort of a more dewy look as opposed to a super matte look, which is really my jam, honestly. I feel like dewy skin looks really, really healthy, and matte skin can sometimes look a little dull. Okay, almost done. Stippling. I know this is not the most interesting process, but I promise we're getting there. Okay. All good, Hollywood. Hi, Kim. We're doing your JLo look. So what I started with first, just to recap, is I took my cream to powder luminizer and I highlighted my face after I primed it, and then I went in with the stick foundation. There, you're all cut up. Okay, I'll blend it in. Hi, Andrea. I'm now going to highlight my face, so my T-zone and everything. What's great about using the Scarlet pressed powder to do that is that what's going to happen is I'm also going to set that area because this is powder. And so I'm just going to grab it. I'm going to take a little bit of rose water and just wet my blending bud. Obsessed with rose water. It smells amazing. It's so good for your skin and your skincare routine, and it helps me so much when I'm setting my makeup and doing my makeup. So I'm just grabbing some Scarlet pressed powder and I'm pressing it into my under eye. And this is just kind of melting it in so that I get that brightness under my eye without like losing the dewiness. I like to do this particularly on my under eye with the sponge because if you have fine lines and wrinkles, this kind of takes that out of the equation because it melts it in. It doesn't go on like a powder. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take, I have this other powder concealer brush and I use this side. I always use this powder concealer for bronzer and I use this one for brightening. That way I don't like make one dirty and one bright. I'm just gonna do my chin. Hi, Michaela. And so this is taking the place of the liquid or the cream concealer that I normally use, this pressed powder. And what's great is it's really, really warm today. So odds are most people are probably gonna sweat or glisten. And adding the pressed powder is going to take that away from screwing up your makeup at all during the day. It's not even an option now because we're setting with pressed powder and brightening and all of the good things. So you can see that on my T-zone, under my eyes, around my mouth, everything is now brighter. Because we use the Scarlet Foundation powder. Okay, beautiful. So now we're gonna go in with Beachfront Bronzer in the shade Malibu. Hi, how are you, Michaela? Hi, Amanda. So we're gonna use the Beachfront Bronzer in the shade Malibu, which is actually the darkest shade of bronzer we have. So I've used the lightest shade of foundation and now the darkest shade of bronzer. I promise it works. It's all about blending it in and not using too much product. So I'm just gonna grab, this is an e.l.f. brush that I got at Target. It's the foundation blurring brush. The reason that I like it to do my bronzer is that it's really dense and it's concentrated and it's not too big. I don't personally know how people can do bronzer with something this big because I like to be a little bit more precise with my bronzer so that my whole face doesn't get it, because I feel like since I use it to contour so much, I can't be sloppy with it. And I would definitely be sloppy if I use something this big to apply it. So this was like $1.99. Don't get all twisted about not having like Morphe products or something like that. There are definitely some brushes that are worth spending more money on, and then there are some where you can get away with $1.99 at Target. So back to the makeup. So this is, again, the Malibu bronzer. And I'm just gonna pop this on right where my ear is and start blending it down towards the corner of my mouth. And I put the majority of the product on the back of my face and blend forward so that I don't deposit that much color in the front. I really want to fade it towards the front so that the inside of my face stays nice and bright and the back can like handle getting blended out a little bit more. We try to be as precision as we can, of course. But I always start in the back and then move forward. And it's not a ton of, like, I literally just tap it like maybe 2 or 3 times in my bronzer. Hi, Nicole. But we just, on Tuesday, we're launching our summer line, which is always called our Beach Kissed line. And there are bronzers and highlighters and blushes in that I don't know how I'm going to make a decision on what to get, to be honest with you. They're so pretty for summer. There's also a lip crayon and an SPF setting powder. I cannot wait. I'll link details to that once I'm fully caught up on everything that it is, though. Oh, good. Dylan's pooping. Just wait for that. Okay, so I'm going to do the sides of my nose just to warm that up. And not necessarily because I want to sculpt it out, but just because if you're doing the sides of your face, you don't want to neglect the sides of your nose. And now my jawline. The jawline is critical. If you're not already contouring your jawline, wait until you start. I anticipate getting lots of thank you notes in the mail because it really is a game changer. Yes, sir. We knew that was coming, didn't we? Okay, I'll be right there. I'm gonna need for you guys to take a 1.5 minute break while I wipe Dylan's butt. Just a minute. That's it? Good heavens. Good. Thank you. So sorry about that. Nothing says professionalism like helping your 4-year-old go to the bathroom. Okay, so we were contouring our chin and our jaw for the $5 liposuction. All right, we're back. So you can see how once you add the highlight and the contour, how much it changes the shape of your face. When you add that warmth back in with the contour, it just like brings your skin to life. It makes you look very healthy and glowy. I'm taking my cheap makeup tip of the day, of the year, of the century, which is just taking a big fluffy powder brush with nothing on it and blending out your makeup a little bit. This will get rid of any really like rough edges. It'll blur any lines so that you don't look like you're not well blended in, because that is a pet peeve of mine, I have to say. But we still have like a really good glow going on. Okay, let's do blush. So I'm gonna go in with pressed blusher in the shade Supple, which is like one of my favorites, of course, until the new Beach Kiss line comes out. So Supple is sort of like an apricot color. I love it with blue eyes. I love it with green eyes. It looks beautiful with brown eyes. But you have to like pulling a little orange because it's definitely a little orange. What I like about the Supple is it's one of our blushes that has a little bit of a metallic shimmer to it. So it's going to, thank you, Lorena. It's going to give you a little bit more glow because it's got a little bit of like a luminizer built into it. And I'll be honest, I was never a blush person before I started doing Younique. I just didn't think it was worth it. I didn't see a value to it. But now if I skip blush or I wait till the very last thing to do it, I can definitely see how much more it wakes up my skin and kind of adds a little bit of extra polish to my look. It's a very subtle one. I'm not going heavy, but then again, like, JLo doesn't go heavy. And granted, I am the most vanilla version of JLo because she has that beautiful olive skin and I do not. But we're getting there. Okay, let's do brows because I want to do eyes last. So Brow Obsession palette. This is the Brunette palette. It's the gift that keeps on giving. My friend Dina just got her palette this week, so she was asking me all kinds of questions about how to use it. So if I take a little extra time with this, it's because it's for Dina. So I'm using this dog. I'm using the Brow Artist brush. This is the original brush, so it has an angled side and a flat side. Now this transfer gel you can use or you can choose not to use. Just because everything is in here doesn't mean you need to use it. So this is what I use when I want to make my powder a little bit more liquid. So I will dip in the powder, then the gel, and then back to the powder. I always line my brows with the darker shade and then I will fill them in and add a little bit of the lighter shade because I like a darker brow. These are both highlight shades, this light sort of champagne and the pink. I've never touched the pink. I have zero desire to, but I do use this like yellowish highlighter shade. If I make a mistake, I'll go in with the flat side, grab a little bit of this and add it. And it's sort of like a magic eraser if you go a little too aggressively or you make a mistake. Otherwise, you can use it as a brow highlight. So I'm going to go in and just touch the dark brown. I'm going to touch the transfer gel, and then I'm going to touch, hi Teresa, I'm going to touch the brown again and draw my brows on. So the first thing I do is I start on the bottom and I draw a line from the front of my brow all the way to the back tip, and I line the bottom. And then I'm going to do the same thing, powder, gel, powder, and I'm going to do the top of my brow. When I do the top of my brow, I don't start all the way in the front. I start a little bit further back because I like to ombre the front of my brow in so that it looks most natural. As you can see on an untouched brow, let me just comb this one so it's not so haggard. As you can see, your brows are naturally lighter and more sparse in the front than they are in the back. So I like to mimic that when I do my brows. So I'm going to take a little bit more of the dark powder and I'm going to fill in from the arch all the way back to the tail and make sure that that is all filled in. That's the darkest and fullest part of your brow. And then I'm going to take what's left over on my brush and what's on my brow, and I'm going to slowly and softly fade in. I should scoot over a little bit so you can actually see what I'm doing, right? All right, so filling in. When we get to the front, I'm just doing those same light little strokes so that we create this like ombre, and you can mimic that softness in the front and the fullness in the back. It's like an eyebrow mullet. Business in the front, party in the back. And I'll zoom out so that it doesn't look like a caterpillar. Hi, Linda. But the difference, sorry, I'm making someone nauseous right now. But the difference between a done, completed brow and an undone brow is night and day. It frames your face, it gives your body more structure, it allows your eyes to pop. I actually don't wear as much eye makeup now that I do my brows as I used to because I just don't need to. So yes, the first time you do your brows, looking at a brow like this compared to a brow like that, you're gonna be like, holy good God, I don't even recognize myself. But I promise you, do it 2 or 3 times, wear it just around the house, and then you will get used to it. Especially if you're considering doing microblading or anything like that, you're gonna wanna play with your brows a little bit so you know how thick you wanna go, how dark you wanna go, how big you wanna go, all of those things. All right, so that's the easy part. The tough part is making the second brow look like the first brow. And we begin. So again, I'm just taking a little bit of the powder into the gel and back into the powder and doing the bottom brow line. And really what the gel does is it turns it into more of a liquid, so it glides on a lot smoother. I feel like it stays a little bit better and it makes your brows look really, really smooth. It like tames them. And you can't go without the brow artist brush. I hate to say it, this is one of those tools that it is absolutely worth getting. I started out using my angled brush that I use for my liner. No, you need the brow artist brush. It's a non-negotiable. The difference is astounding. Okay, so starting at the arch and filling it back to the tail. And then fading in the rest of it. All done. Almost. It's a little bit late here. All right. I'm going to have to catch the rest on replay. Have a great night. Enjoy the game, Kim. Okay, so our brows are done, and now we're going to go in with the combo that I've selected for today. And in fact, I think I'm even going to do eyeliner because I'm just feeling a little extra. Feeling a little extra today, which is why I just dumped my entire drawer of eyeliners all over everything. It's fine. Okay. Crisis averted. It's picked up. All right, so we're going to go in with Perfect liquid liner afterwards, but I made this pretty palette. So I swear I haven't even been drinking. That's what's sad about all of this. All right, we just dumped our stuff. This is live, in case you hadn't noticed. Okay, so this is the palette that I created to kind of get like the earth tone JLo look going on. Hi, Lynn. So this is Marvelous, Lively, Nimble, and Relaxed. All right. So we're going to go in with Marvelous first, and I'm just going to put it on my crease brush. So this is the Younique crease brush. It's fluffy, so it's really soft, but it comes to a point so that you can really kind of get into the crease of your eye. So I'm going to grab a little bit of that dark chocolate brown Marvelous, and I'm going to put this right in the crease of my eye. Hi, Becky. And we're just kind of going for like a smoky yet subtle look. Like how JLo would do. Okay. Now all of our pressed shadows are hyperpigmented, so what's great about that is you need very little product in order to get color on your eye. That's going to be a lot different than you're used to using shadows though, because most of them you're going to have to go back and forth 100 times, get all that gunky fallout underneath your eyes that we all hate. That's why most people do their eyes first, so that they can like clean that off and then do their foundation, but honestly I don't have to do that. I'm going to take the Younique fluffy blending brush, and I'm just going to blend that out a little bit so that it's not harsh. Okay, and now I'm going to go in with the shade right here, which is Nimble, and I'm going to put it all over my lid and blend that right into the crease. This kind of like softens it up a little bit and just makes it really smooth. And now this shade here, Lively, would scare most people, but I promise you it's amazing. I'm going to take my Younique Deluxe brush. So the Deluxe brush is two-sided. I'm going to take the angled side, and we're just going to pop this on our eye, sort of stippling it in from mostly over the lid, just to like liven that lid up a little bit. I like a little bit of color, clearly. And I feel like this one looks great, especially with green eyes and blue eyes. It really brings out the color in those two. I love this brush because it's angled, so you can really get in and be precision with it. Okay. And then I'm going to take the other side of the Deluxe brush, which is the sponge, and I'm going to grab some Relaxed, which is that metallic shade, and I'm just going to put it on the inside corner and blend it out into the center of my eye. Okay, and you can see it just kind of wakes it up. It gives it a little bit of that JLo glow, which I really feel like she should be credited with all the JLo glow vibes. And now I'm going to take that angled brush. Here's a little tip. If you want to use any of your eyeshadows as liner, get an angled brush like this and a little bit of water, dip it in, grab some of your product, and it's automatically liner. What's nice about that is it dries to a powder finish, so you can blend it out if you feel like it's too heavy. I'm just taking some of that Marvelous chocolate brown and I'm painting it onto my lower lash line, and I'm going to smudge it out. I like to use powder because, especially on my lower lashes, I don't like a really harsh look. So this allows me to blend it. I'm just going to go in with a big angled brush like this and sort of smudge it out. Perfect. All right, so now we're gonna go in with everyone's favorite 4D mascara. If you haven't gotten one, I have 10 that should be here next week. So let me know if you want one and I can send you an invoice for it and ship it out. They're amazing and worth every penny. And actually they are the same price as our regular Epic. They're incredible. Before I do that, I'm actually going to put liquid liner on in the shade Perfect. Easiest liquid liner I have ever used is our Younique Moodstruck. Alright, done. 4D mascara, like I was saying, is everything. A little tip though, put your mirror down below when you do your 4D because it's going to make your lashes so long that you're probably going to touch the top of your eye with it. So stick your mirror below you and you won't have that issue. Hi Rosie. And we're just going to go in. And what this does is it deposits little Y-shaped fibers onto your lashes so that when you, thank you Rosie, so that as you layer this on, it's going to make your lashes fuller and thicker right from the root. Okay, that's number 2 coat. Look at the difference. The difference is everything. 4D mascara. If you haven't gotten one, grab one. I do have 10 coming this week. Okay. Dun. This is like lash extensions in a bottle. So if you don't want to commit to lash extensions, you can just grab one of these for a fraction of the cost. And no time commitment. All right, I'm just going to take what I have left over on my wand and put it on my lower lashes, or else you wouldn't even know that I had them. Fabulous. All right, so let's take off my Hottie Lip Plumper. Now that my lips are fully juiced up, because I'm going to do a splash liquid lipstick, and the splash really goes on best when your lips are dry and with nothing else on them. So let's go in with a little bit of highlighter first, because as I said before, we're kind of doing a JLo inspired look today. So we're going to go in with, this is Iridescent Powder Luminizer. We're just going to make our skin glow right on our cheekbones. Down our nose and over the top of our brows. Don't forget your Cupid's bow right here. It makes your top lip look amazing when this part is highlighted. Okay. Oh my God, I can't not drop things today. This is a problem. Okay, so for my lip combo of the day, I'm going to use Pouty Lip Liner, Subtle Splash Liquid Lipstick, and Loveable Lip Gloss. This is one of my favorite neutral lip combos. I do use it quite often, but it's just because it's such a good one. So Pouty Lip Liner. If you are someone who struggles to get your lips to stay perfect all day, get a lip liner. If you want your lips to look bigger, get a lip liner. If you find that your lipstick runs or moves during the day, get a lip liner. Moral of the story is get a lip liner. And if you want to overline your lips, only do so right in the middle. Don't do it on the outsides. Okay, Splash Liquid Lipstick in the shade Subtle. My personal favorite. A little goes a long way. And I find that the splash, because it's a matte, is best if you don't rub it back and forth. You just let it dry where it is. Also, because we use the lip exfoliator and the Hottie Lip Plumper, it looks that much better. So another deal with Hottie is, or Splash, is you want it to set before you put a gloss over the top. So that's what we're gonna do while I just touch up my makeup. Okay. All right, so the splash should dry fully before you add a gloss, and we're gonna add Loveable, which just has a little bit more pink to it. So not only is it gonna make my lips just like really perfect, it's going to give them a gloss shine, so it's good. They're going to look even larger. I was a little aggressive on my wiping of my lips, and now my lips are red. So I'm just taking a little of the Scarlet Pressed Powder. So Loveable Lip Gloss, coming in hot. and it just pinks them up just a little bit. One last thing, I'm going to go in with a little extra bronzer because at the end I always kind of add a little bit more. Usually. There you have it. So the last thing I'm going to do is set my makeup, and I'm actually going to set it with rose water because I want a really, really dewy look like JLo. So I'm going to go in with rose water toning spritz. And my face obviously looks wet because of it. I'm just going to take and dry it off, sort of push that drying process along. I will say that at least this bottle of it, this bottle of rose water, comes out like a fire hose. Like, it has a lot of pressure behind it. The Touch Behold is definitely easier to apply because it comes out in like a more subtle mist. But if you are using the rose water and you find that it's coming out with a ton of pressure on it, just hold it further back and kind of move it around so that you don't like nail yourself with it. It's drying, but we're getting all the glow. You can see that all of the luminizer that I put on has really come out, especially after I added the rose water. All right, I think we're good. What do we think? Am I the Polish JLo or what? All right, so what I will do is take an unfiltered selfie and I will post it here with a link to all of the products that I use so that if you have any questions and you wanna go ahead and go shopping, you can certainly do that. If you need to be color matched for anything, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm always here to help. If you have questions about skincare or skin issues or what products would be best for you, always ask and I will definitely answer. Other than that, I will be back tomorrow morning, and if you have any special requests for a video, leave it in the comments here. If you're watching this on replay, leave that in the comments here. As always, because it helps me more than you could ever know. If you have friends and family that love makeup, giving them the gift of my page or my lives helps me so much to meet new people. So I would really appreciate if you did that as well. But thank you guys. I will see you again tomorrow.